I'm chilling, scrolling through web shopping late at night, probably should have been asleep, but then I spot it. A shiny new AMD Ryzen 5 8400F and AM5 CPU for just over 2 million VNDers. That's like under $100 for 6 cores and 12 threads. My brain went, wait, what? And my wallet said, buy it. So I did. I swapped out my Ryzen 7 9700X from this rig right here and slapped in the 8400F to see if this budget champ can hang with the big dogs. Spoiler alert, it's got some surprises up its sleeve. Stick around, because we're about to unpack if this is the steal of the year or just another cheap chip. So first off, the price tag. I nabbed this thing for a hair over 2 million VND during a sale, but normally it's closer to 2.5 million. For that, it's squaring up against Intel's Core i5 12400F, another 6-core, 12-thread contender. Sounds like a fair brawl, right? Well, hold up. When I cracked open the spec sheet, I got a reality check. I figured an 8000 series chip would be a close cousin to the Ryzen 5 7500F from the 7000 series. Nope, it's more like a stripped-down Ryzen 5 8500G without the integrated graphics. The kicker? It's got half the L3 cache, 16 megabytes versus the 32 megabytes on the 7500F. If you're an esports fiend chasing those sky-high FPS numbers, that's a red flag. But don't bounce yet. We've got a lot more to dig into. Let's break down what this chip's packing. The 8400F is essentially the CPU guts of the 8500G, minus the APU. What it loses in graphics, it gains in flexibility, 20 PCIe 4.0 lanes compared to the 8500G's measly 14. That's a win if you're planning to pair it with a beefy GPU or a blazing fast NVMe SSD. You're not stuck in a corner with this one. It's got room to grow. And being on the AM5 platform, that's AMD's latest socket, so you're set for future upgrades without tossing your motherboard. That's a longevity flex Intel can't match right now. Now, the part you're all here for, performance. For just over 2 million VND, you're getting a 6-core, 12-thread workhorse. I threw it into some benchmarks to see how it stacks up. In multi-core tests like Cinebench R24 and Blender 3D rendering, it actually edges out the Core i5 12400F by about 5 to 10%. Not bad for a budget brawler. But against the Ryzen 5 7500F, it's lagging 5 to 10% behind. Makes sense. The 7500F costs around 3.5 million VNDs, so you're paying for that extra oomph. For me, it's all about value. Does this chip deliver where it counts? I took it for a real-world spin editing this video. I'm shooting on a Lumix GH5, 10-bit 422H264 at 150 megapixels, and the 8400F didn't flinch. Playback was smooth, even with effects and grading stacked on. No dropped frames, no hiccups. Exporting, though? That's where it showed its budget roots. Compared to my Ryzen 7 9700X, it felt like watching paint dry. Definitely slower, but not a deal breaker. Curious how it fares against the 7500F, I ran Puget Systems benchmark in Premiere. Paired with an RTX 5080, the 8400F still couldn't keep up with the 7500F, rocking an RTX 4080 Super. If editing's your hustle, the 7500F might be worth the stretch. But for casual creators on a budget, this little guy holds its own. Gaming's where it gets spicy. That 16 megabyte L3 cache? It's a bottleneck for esports titles like CS2 and Valorant. With the 9700X, I was pulling 700 to 800 FPS in CS2. The 8400F peaked at 500 to 600 FPS. Still solid for most players, but if you're that guy sweating every frame in ranked matches, you'll feel the difference. Flip the script to 4K gaming. Monster Hunter World, Brakeman Who, and it's a different story. At higher resolutions, your GPU's the star, and the 8400F keeps pace with pricier chips. I barely noticed a gap compared to the 9700X at 4K. So 1080p warriors, take note, 1440p or 4K gamers, you're golden. Big picture time. The 8400F is the cheapest ticket into AM5, and that's its ace. You're building a rig that can evolve. Slap in a Ryzen 7000 or 8000 series later without a motherboard swap. Intel's 2400F can't touch that upgrade path. But here's the catch: total build cost. AM5 boards like the A620 are pricier than Intel's H610 options, and the 8400F needs DDR5 RAM, another cost bump over the DDR4-friendly 2400F. Add it up, and an Intel build might save you 1 to 2 million VND. On a 10 to 12 million VND budget, that's real money. So what's the final word? The Ryzen 5 8400F is a budget beast with a future-proof edge. It outmuscles the core i5 12400F in multi-core grunt and gives you AM5's upgrade runway. But it's not flawless. Esports nuts might scoff at the cash, and Intel's cheaper ecosystem is tempting if you're pinching pennies. For me, it's a no-brainer if you want a taste of AMD's latest without selling your soul. It's not the king, but it's a damn good peasant. That's the rundown, folks. What do you reckon? Team AMD or Intel for your next build? Let's hear it below. Catch you in the next one.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.